explain what specifically they are afraid of beyond mean tweet? And I bring this up because I've actually had friends of mine, people you and I both know on the right. I'm talking pundits, radio people, TV people, come up to me and say, Jesse, I can't believe you say this. Do you ever get in trouble? Or are you worried about that? And I always ask them, get in trouble with who? What, some deranged feminist is going to scream at me? Why would that matter? They can never seem to quantify what getting in trouble means. Do people actually know what they're afraid of?
My conception of it, and from all the research I've done for this book, as well as my own personal experience, is that the number one fear that people think about when they self-censor is being called a racist or a bigot. They, I think, sort of rightfully understand that that is apparently the worst thing you can be called in modern day society, because it's a label where if you don't have a platform that's independent, can get you fired, can get you excommunicated from your social circles and basically kicked out of polite society. And these groups throw the word around like it means nothing. I mean, they'll call anybody a racist, a bigot, a transphobe, a homophobe, whatever label that they can to try to shut up anyone who questions their obviously insane ideology. And for someone, who's not in our position, that can be a really scary thing. And then for the woke corporate boards at these various businesses and mainstream media outlets, they're similarly in the position where the word racism didn't used to be thrown around so casually. It was pretty much reserved for people who thought that you should have separate water fountains. And now that it's been turned against them, even though they've seemingly been liberal their whole lives and have ostensibly been on the side of the woke activists, they just legitimately don't know how to react.
Amber, let's talk about our own side for a moment, because honestly, that's where more of my frustration lies. I know what the dirty communist trash want. I know exactly who they are. I'm not worried about that. What concerns me is watching Republican politicians and pundits help them create a false narrative about virtually everything. For about the first 48 hours, they will go along with it. They will help them create it. And then eventually the winds will start blowing the other way and they'll step up and be freedom fighter again once the narrative has already been set. But as I've often said, give me the first 48 hours, I'll give you the next 48 years. When we need them to stand firm, they do not. Why? What is wrong with our own side?
There are so many Republicans and conservatives who are obsessed with being the good guys in the eyes of the media. They don't want to be associated with who the so-called extremists and crazies are. So they shop their PR releases to the mainstream media. They give their scoops to them. They talk to them on background and act as anonymous sources. It happened in the Trump administration all the time. And I write about this extensively in one chapter in the book, because what these people are doing is they're giving legitimacy to an institution that should have absolutely none. And the title of the book, The Snowflakes Revolt, is kind of tongue-in-cheek, because snowflake is obviously a pretty gauche term at this point. But what it's pointing at is the fact that conservatives thought that these woke millennials would graduate from universities and the real world would get them in check and they would melt. Well, that didn't happen because nobody took them seriously. And so instead, they've really taken over so many aspects of society, our biggest institutions, and created real change. And made these progressive, zany ideas somehow mainstream and normal. So we have a lot of culpability in the society that we're living in right now.
Yeah, we do. Amber, you're the best. Go buy her book. I appreciate you.